Welcome back to the coaching closet. I am so excited today to have my friend and my personal wedding planner here, Karissa Kniebel.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Guys.
Yes, she's here and she is a mom of two gorgeous kids. Oh my gosh. Single mom, but not single. So I don't hear any messages from the guys. She's been helping Mike and I plan our wedding over the past about 4 months, and we're getting down to the wire. We are I think 21 days out.
Yes. 11/11.
Oh my gosh. I am super excited and a little overwhelmed, but you know what? We're already married, so it's just a big party, right?
Yes. It's going to be perfect.
Yes. And thanks to her, you know what? I'm not as overwhelmed as I would be. So I just want to start with the interview. I wanted to bring her on so she could bless all of you with her amazing talent. She's amazing. So how did you get into wedding planning?
So I used to be a flight attendant, and one of my fellow colleagues, she asked if I would assist her for a wedding that she was planning. This was like 5 years ago. So I said absolutely, and when I got into that environment, I knew I loved it. I just loved the whole atmosphere. I loved seeing the bride and groom behind the scenes and then watching it all come together. So I realized I wanted to get into that industry, and I applied for a position at a wedding venue here in Houston. I got hired, and I've been doing weddings for 5 years now.
That's so awesome. I love it. I mean, who doesn't love a wedding? Who doesn't love a love story, right?
Absolutely.
So fun. I love weddings too. That's why I was like, we have to have one, even though we got married,
It's like
really
a party,
fast.
constant party for everybody.
That's so fun. Oh my gosh. I could see why we'd love it. Okay, so in your title, you have certified wedding planner.
Yes.
What does that entail to become that?
So I definitely recommend, if someone is interested in going in the industry, to start assisting events to start off with. So you can kind of learn, see what the behind the scenes is like, and if you actually like it. In order to get certified or master certified, you can actually take a course online. So I went with the Bridal Society, and that's how I got my master's in wedding planning.
That is so awesome. Well, you're definitely, you know what you're doing. I mean, you guys, like every detail, I mean, things that you would never think of. She's like, oh, this. Like, I mean, there's layers to weddings. Like, you don't even know. You can watch 20 hours of YouTube, but you won't even learn it. Like, this woman is like on it from day one.
Thank you.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. Okay, so what is your favorite part of wedding planning? Like, is it the beginning, the middle, or do you have several different favorite parts of the whole process? Kind of the planning part and then the day. I want to ask you that. Like, what's your favorite part of the planning and then the favorite part of the day?
So my favorite part of planning would be to actually have that initial consultation with my couple. So I want to make sure that we match right. It's a growing process. So I'm there to kind of grow with you guys in your journey of having this beautiful wedding of your dreams, and I get to know you both. I get to know your love story, and I also get to know your family and friends. So that's my favorite part, is kind of just going through, checking off things on the list, 12 months out, 8 months out, 6 months out, or like Rochelle and Micah, crunching it into 4 months, but it can be done as long as you're organized. But then when the actual day comes, watching it just kind of come to fruition and all the hard work you've put into it. I love to have that stress-free mentality that goes to my staff, to my clients. I don't want them stressing over anything. So most of my clients have always told me, wow, you're so calm. Like, how are you so calm today? And I'm like, because we have everything checked off that we need. There's a backup for a backup for a backup. And that's just my expertise in the field. And so watching it all come together, and then just having those smiles and the hugs and kisses at the end of the night where they're just like, this was the best day. It came out perfectly, and that just fills my heart. It's a joy. So
that's so awesome. And you have the perfect demeanor. It's like with a doctor, you say bedside manner. With you, it's like the demeanor for this position, because the last thing you want is that energy of anxiety from someone that's helping you plan something that's kind of anxiety producing anyway. Like you're getting ready for this major event in your life, like the biggest day of your life. You have the perfect just demeanor for that. I guess I'd put it that way.
Thank you.
Okay, so the best part of the day is, you'd say, at the end when they're super satisfied, or?
So definitely at the end, where I can say job well done to my team and just be able to hug my couple and their families goodbye. But one of my other favorite parts, and I always watch, is when the groom watches the bride walk down the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
And usually they're crying and I'm getting emotional in the back. That's probably the one time that you'll see me get a little teary-eyed or whatnot. So that is such a special moment, and honestly, there's really nothing that can replace that feeling when you're watching someone, make that commitment, and that husband is staring at her with joy in his eyes and tears, and people are crying. But yes, that's one of my favorite moments of the day.
Oh my gosh, I just got chills. Like, so my youngest daughter Samantha was like, Micah better cry whenever he sees you.
Right.
I'm like, don't worry, he cries all the time. He's very tenderhearted, so
Yeah,
I'm sure that will happen.
I'm sure he will.
Oh my gosh, but I don't want to cry because I don't want to
mess up
anything. I'm already going to be, I'm like, we were going through the music list and I was like crying. We were crying in the car. We just took a long road trip and I was like, this is not good, because maybe I can get it all out now, because all these moments are so special. And when you've waited as long as we have to find the final person, it's like, whoa. I mean, it's just emotional. So have you ever had a bride just lose it, or is that less
No.
common?
I haven't really seen that too much. We've had some crazy emergency day of situations. Dresses breaking, things like that. I mean, we have a sewing kit on hand. I mean, I've had to sew tuxes, dresses. But I would say I haven't seen a bride lose it in that way. Usually she's just surrounded by all the amazing people in her bridal suite. I mean, there's a length of time that she gets to just hang out, chill out, have a mimosa, and just kind of relax and get ready. So, I've seen brides and mothers and things like that just kind of have their moment where the tears are happening, but we just touch up that makeup.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, that's good if you can have that time beforehand and it's
Yes.
kind of planned for. I know one of my bridesmaids was like, what are we doing Friday? I'm like, we're getting ready all day. Basically.
Right.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to plan for food. Like I was gonna ask you about that tonight.
Yes.
You actually emailed me a whole worksheet. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have homework.
Homework assignments.
Yeah, I have homework.
Okay.
And we're like, 20 something days out. I'm like, okay, we have homework. So what is your least favorite part of the whole process, or the day, or, what's your least favorite?
I would say least favorite part of the day would be the end, just kind of like, not necessarily the day, but just the experience. So, and I know a lot of brides talk about this after they get married. They're kind of like, oh man, I don't have to plan anything anymore, and it's come and gone, all that work. So that's kind of how I feel also, because my clients are now kind of just like little birds leaving the nest, and I'm not going to be in constant communication anymore.
Yeah.
But, the best thing about with my wedding business, which is Karissa Joy Weddings and Events, most of my clients still keep in touch with me. I get invited to, dinner parties and things like that, and that relationship still continues on. Now, regarding the actual wedding day, my least favorite part, I would say it's all fun for me, setting up and making sure, the only thing that I have to be on point that can be a little tough sometimes is with vendors. You have to make sure your vendors are where they are when they need to be. And if someone didn't do their part and they showed up late or whatnot, I mean, I'm on the phone. We're making sure that, we know what's going on. But all of the vendors have a very detailed timeline that is, everyone's on the same page. So everyone knows what's happening when. And if for some reason, because believe it or not, hiccups do happen on, traffic jams happen or things like that, then we just stay in communication and we figure it out. or we delay that vendor from setting something up and start with someone else. But regardless, I would say just making sure you're on top of everything and you have quality staff, you have quality vendors that you're working with. You want to do your research. You know, you don't want to hire DJ no show or somebody who you don't know in that sense. Look at reviews, but when you do hire a wedding planner, they'll be able to present those 5-star vendors to you so that you can pick and choose from those quality vendors.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one thing that you've done amazing is like, here's the list of vendors, here's your choices, and you know who they are, and it's like amazing because you've done the research for us. I mean, It is overwhelming, especially in Houston, Texas. It's a great thing that you have a lot of choices here, but you don't know who these people are, and people can just set up shop and say, I'm a this or that or the other. But you don't know the day of, like, if they're going to show. So that's one amazing thing. So what's the average time frame of planning, average budget? What are the kind of the averages on weddings?
So, honestly, in 2020, the average wedding is roughly around $30,000. But you have to consider your guest count and what type of wedding you want. So a lot of my clients have higher budgets. They're looking at venues that might be a little bit more expensive, and they want a specific luxury style, something of that nature. And so you do want to kind of prepare to take 10% of your budget and put it aside towards your planning services. That's pretty standard. So with our company at Karissa Joy Weddings and Events, we do have 3 packages to choose from. And my lowest package would be month of coordination and planning, which I step in 8 weeks before and kind of take over, but we do meet before then and things like that. So you do want to make sure that if you're hiring a wedding planner, which we highly recommend that you do, that you have that 10% of your overall budget allocated to go towards your planning and those assistant fees as well.
Yeah, and then the day of, you like make sure everything is running seamlessly.
Yes.
I mean, you do not want to be a bride or groom like taking care of those details. That's the day for you to enjoy your event. It's not the day for you to like have to do all the things, right?
I've had a lot of clients in the past that have said, my cousin's going to coordinate, and things like that, where this is when I managed a wedding venue, and your cousin, who is one of your bridesmaids, how is she going to coordinate? How does she know, who's where they are, when they're supposed to be? I've had experiences where there were things that were ordered, or the client thought they ordered it, and it wasn't actually ordered. For example, a stage, so the day of, there was no coordinator, and they tell me I was able to hop on the phone with 2 hours to figure it out, and I did get them a vendor that brought in a stage, and that was definitely something that their family wanted and needed. But those little things were missed because they didn't have a planner. They didn't have the proper coordination going on either. And so that's what a planner does. They review all your contracts. They're going to make sure that that vision comes alive and we don't miss anything. And of course, they help you with your payment schedules and all the details that you don't think about. Who's bringing, are we having toasting flutes, are there going to be escort cards or seating charts, and what kind of floor plan, how many people are seated at those size tables, and especially when you start touring venues shortly after you get engaged, those are going to be questions that you're not going to think to ask when you're going to look at that venue. So it's always important to have a planner if you can first. If not, and you have your mind set on a certain venue, go ahead and book your venue, and then go from there. But yeah,
it's super helpful to have a wedding planner with you because she knows all the questions to ask. I mean, you're just like, I just want to have a great wedding, but you don't know what to ask. And then the negotiation that she can do, Karissa is very knowledgeable in the field, so she knows how to negotiate even prices and the little extras that they can add in. I mean, things that you don't know about. So it's super awesome. So I wanted to ask kind of a funny question. I have noticed myself getting like, oh my gosh, there's these little details left that favors and gifts and things that I have to kind of look at and research. And I'm not that great on decisions, but I'm going to ask you some things tonight after this. But what is the Bridezilla kind of thing? Is that a reality? Have you seen it? Can you tell us some funny stories?
Oh, okay. So yeah, absolutely. Bridezilla is a real thing. Okay. I even have it on my contract, believe it or not.
Oh my goodness.
There is a clause in there, and I know that sounds really strange, odd, scary to read that. But there's a Bridezilla clause on my contract specifically because, if you've hired me, but then you decide that you're not going to take any direction of any kind, or you're going out of your way to, kind of go against what we're trying to plan, or if you're just not getting back to me, things like that, or if you do end up being that Bridezilla, which I've never had this happen. I've never had somebody be disrespectful in that way, but if it ends up becoming a situation where it's not working out for either of us, and you do really seem like you want to be a do-it-yourself bride, and your mind's set on those things, because there's actually vendors that I have worked with in the past and I continue to work with for a reason. I mean, there's always going to be an opportunity for new vendors to come in and work with them, but if somebody does want to go ahead and hire that DJ no-show, and then my name is on all the things, it's my company representing the wedding planning at your wedding, and then things end up falling apart that were outside of my control, even DJ not coming for some reason, which we would never hire a DJ that's not going to show up. But if something like that happened, it does reflect poorly on my business. So I would have to, have that conversation with the bride saying, these are the things that were listed in my contract, and unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to continue moving forward. And of course, we talk about what would happen at that point, but, we want to make sure everything is kind of up to standards, of course, and up to par for what we're looking for. I definitely know that everyone can be a Bridezilla. You can definitely let those fears of, did I forget this? Oh my gosh, I need to get this, and I just saw something on Pinterest and I have to have this at my wedding, and but I think the best thing to do is to just focus on what really is important. That's why you sit down with your planner and you go through those meetings where you talk about the vision and all the little details, and we can do the work on the backside and trying to get, those vendors and those products to you. But I just always encourage my clients, if you do have that ability to do 12 months of planning, or you can do it like Rochelle and do 4, but
I recommend 12.
Longer time is going to be a benefit on our side, so we can, get everything we need. And also some things that happen when you're planning in a shorter time would be, you might have fallen in love with the vendor that you had your eyes on, but they're booked out already. So we gotta, troubleshoot and figure out who else is available and what kind of style it is that you're going for. But I'll be honest, I haven't had too many Bridezillas in the sense where they're coming at me or anything like that. We've had some crazy stories about family members and family conflicts. Certain people might not be allowed to attend a wedding. So honestly, we do have little codes, code red, code blue, code,
really?
There are codes, that we can use, but I've had really dramatic situations where certain family members are not allowed in bridal suites, or the father of the bride wasn't allowed to attend the wedding, unfortunately. And that's where I see more, conflict than anywhere else, would be any kind of family issues going on. But we handle it professionally. We also really do make sure that our clients are the ones that are happy in the end. So, that's the most important. You guys hired us, and if you said there's no open requests for songs for the night, then there's going to be no open requests. It's what the bride and groom has on the playlist. There are some people that might not want some rated R music at the dinner party. So it's just every wedding is different. I have funny stories. Trust me, I have stories that will, we could talk about for days.
Do you want to share one?
Oh, what's a good one off the top of my head? Okay. Well, hopefully this person doesn't watch this YouTube video. I would say that I did have a somewhat do-it-yourself bride. She actually just hired services for day of coordination, which I don't actually offer day of coordination solely in my company, but it was at my previous employment. And so basically, day of coordination is when the client plans everything and you kind of show up and you run the timeline for the day. So she had done this planning for, she had artificial flowers, which I didn't know what the boxes were that were delivered that morning to the venue, and they were artificial flowers and they were all separate. So when I went up to check with her, she had told me that we needed to create these bouquets for all the centerpieces. So please don't ever leave out details like this for your planners or your coordinators. All the last minute changes or things that, I did hire another vendor. Please make sure you tell people this stuff because we want to all be on the same page. Anyway, so I spent a lot of time putting together these bouquet flowers.
You were like being a florist?
I became a decorator and a florist all in one. But, where my attention should be elsewhere. I should be doing other things. But thankfully, my assistant came in early that day. She helped me. And then, so we got through all the pre-ceremony stuff. And we sent them in the bus to go to the chapel. And no one informed me that there was going to be a full bar on this bus downtown 30 minutes.
Oh, no.
I don't know if anyone was drinking on the way there. I think they were probably, but they definitely drank on the way back. So on the way back, your guests are arriving for a cocktail hour, and that wedding party shows up in that shuttle bus, and the bride basically stumbles out of the shuttle bus. And we have a very detailed list of family photos, wedding party photos that really were important to her. And she actually just decided, I don't want to do photos. I would like to just enjoy my time. And so,
oh no.
Of course, we still encourage these photos. We made it, where it wasn't as many, but we also had to get that bride some food. So we had hors d'oeuvres passed and served to the area we were in. I said immediately we need to get the bride some food. So she's eating a chicken wing on a toothpick and drops it down her dress. So now we have, sauce all over her beautiful dress. We have not done the introductions yet or anything.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, and so basically what happened here was there was alcohol consumption, too much of it, and at the wrong time. And so that's where the rest of the day it was kind of like following around trying to say, hey, we have to do this right now. Or there was a lot of crying, a lot of happy tears.
Oh, that's really sad.
Lots of happy tears on the bride's part. Anytime someone got us, over with one of their speeches, she belted out crying and was walking around giving hugs. And I know she wouldn't have acted that way if she had not been overserved on that bus.
That is
and so
awful.
I wasn't on the bus. Didn't know that liquor was in there, but I highly recommend if you are going to drink, which it's okay to drink, just in moderation.
Yes,
and try
100%.
to keep that liquor away until the reception for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is amazing advice. I mean,
yes.
Okay, the chicken wing part. I'm not drinking anything with color in it. You're in this expensive dress, right? I don't care if it's just a couple $100, but it's still expensive. And no color, no sauces. Forget it.
No
and
red
you know
wine
what?
for now.
No. And I think the best cleaner I have is it's called Incredible. We need to have a bottle of that handy.
Yes, I use Shout. So
amazing.
Shout
We
is my
need
best
that.
friend.
I am not gonna have no. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. So I want to ask you. So you do events. So you can do any event. Do you like to do other events besides weddings? What kind of events do you like to do?
Yeah, so I have done birthday parties, baby showers. I had the honor of hosting my daughter's 5th birthday party at a beautiful venue in Houston, castle-like. and her entire class at school and their parents were invited. It was a royal ball. So everyone came dressed up in their royal attire, and it was the best party ever.
Yes.
So I do birthday parties, engagements. So if you do want to have this beautiful engagement that you're doing for your girlfriend, and you're a typical guy, you don't know where to start, what to do, but you do want something awesome, and it could be a scavenger hunt, or it could be some romantic candlelight, setup that we have somewhere. And then close family comes out after she says yes, and then a dinner party. So things like that.
That's awesome.
I've done corporate events. So yeah, absolutely. All different types of events. Any kind. I'm happy to work with.
That's really awesome. Like, how amazing would it be, like, to have an amazing party but don't have to plan the whole thing? And she's full of amazing ideas. So what is your best advice to a newly engaged couple when they're just beginning their journey?
Absolutely. I would say communicate with one another first. When you're newly engaged, it's important to talk about your desires for what your wedding looks like and be on the same page. You don't want to just, girlfriend or new fiance saying to her new fiance, I just, hired a planner, or hey, she's coming over for lunch and we're having our first meeting, or something like that. Have that conversation as a couple first on what it looks like, what your visions are, and also what your budget looks like, because everyone has a different idea on budget. So, definitely communication is key with each other. I would say making sure your budget is pretty accurate. You can have, a steak and lobster vision, but maybe it's more of, an Olive Garden, kind of budget. I don't know, but just being realistic. Also, doing it yourself is fun. A lot of brides like to do it themselves, and I'd probably be one of those brides as well. It's just that you do need somebody that a planner is highly recommended. So if you're not able to afford full planning or even partial, you definitely want day of coordination, and have that on there, so that one of your family members or friends is not just stepping out and having to do these duties, because they're not going to enjoy like they would. So that would be my advice to newly engaged couples. And yeah, I think that's pretty good.
That's really good advice. Yeah, definitely be on the same page. Talk about communication. I mean, you're going to have to do that the rest of your marriage. At least you should. Okay, what's your best advice to Micah and me? We're like 24 days out. I don't know. I lost count.
Okay, well, I would say for you guys to remember that this wedding is about the two of you. So it's about, what's the whole purpose? Having the people that you love come and celebrate the union of your marriage. And I think, especially in these times where we're so close to the date, it's easy to kind of just get overwhelmed and say, what am I missing? I need to have this. You can actually have your vision explode a little bit, where you're like, I want to add stuff and all that. But take a breather, take a step back, and just enjoy each other and enjoy your relationship right now. Don't get too overwhelmed, because any of the things that you want to talk about with me tonight, we'll talk about that, and then it'll be my job to take on and help out with whatever it needs to be changed or added. And really, it's just important to actually, on your wedding day, take time apart and maybe have a moment together. Even after your introductions, after you're having you could have a private dinner. Some people have done that before. If you're going to have your dinner at the sweetheart table, then I like to try to pencil in some time away, maybe an intimate moment where you two, before everything gets overwhelming, the two of you guys can just be like, because your day it goes by so fast. You'll realize that you're like, wow, it's already over. So those things are really important. Some people like to do a first look or just even a first touch. I love that. When
I think a first touch would be
first
nice.
touch is very cool.
Around the corner.
You can, touch hands and or do a gift exchange or a card exchange that's really meaningful.
Yeah.
So you take the time out and you write your future soon-to-be husband a letter, and he does the same for you, and your photo and video team can capture that moment while you're reading it. Those are kind of really sentimental moments that I encourage on your wedding day. And little surprises here and there. And,
I love it.
Because obviously the person that you love, you want to be with them, but there are hours and hours that are going to pass where you guys are completely separate. You know, you're not seeing each other before, so you're like, man, I just want to hug my man, or so maybe that first touch is what we need to throw into that timeline. So
I love that.
Just enjoying all of the moments, don't get overwhelmed, and just soak it all in. And anything you need help with, call your girl.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to talk after this. We got a lot to talk about. Yes. I cannot wait until I can wait, but I'm just so excited to share with everyone celebrating, because we already got married in July, like officially, but we haven't had the wedding. It almost feels like we're just engaged. I mean, I've known he's the one since day one, which you guys know, but it's just weird. So I think I'll feel really married after our wedding. Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't.
And they surprised me. They were like, "Hey, change of plans." We actually are married already.
Yeah, because we were already planning.
What's happening? Keeping up with these two has been a full-time job in and of itself.
Yeah, right.
But they are not. They are amazing. Let me rephrase that. They are not awful at all. They're wonderful, and I love these clients. They're actually the most fun clients I ever had. So, I'll have to take off my little planner hat at the end of the night and do a little jigging with y'all.
Yeah, we've become good friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you are going to communicate with me because we're going to be friends.
Yes.
We are friends already.
We already are friends.
Yay! How fun is that? So, guys, if you're looking for an amazing planner in Houston or even outlying areas, I don't know how far you'll go, but Karissa Joy Events. Follow her on Instagram.
Thank you.
We'll put all her details in the comments, and you guys can connect and just follow our journey too. So,
yay!
Yay! Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Love it. Okay, bye.